introduction of the MOOC,
Okay.
very brief.
So yes, we have started and the recording is on. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome to all the participants. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to this webinar session, which takes place in the occasion of the celebrations for International E-Waste Day 2025. This webinar session is also organized in the context of the third launch of the E-Waste Challenge Massive Open Online Course, MOOC. This session will focus on international standards to manage e-waste. The standards developed by the ITU and partners describe, for example, how to reduce e-waste by design, introduce a step-by-step process to develop a comprehensive e-waste management framework, and guide in the implementation of extended producer responsibility policies. The standards describe steps for the introduction of a new policy, the Digital Product Passport for Information and Communication Technologies. My name is Francesca Cenni, and I will facilitate this session on behalf of the BRS Secretariat, as well as providing a brief introduction to the 2025 version of the E-Waste Challenge MOOC. Next slide. In today's session, which is scheduled to last for 1 hour, after an initial introduction on the E-Waste Challenge MOOC, Paolo Gemma from Huawei and chairman of the Working Party 2, Environment, Energy Efficiency and the Circular Economy of Study Group 5 at the ITU, will provide a presentation on the role of international standards in tackling the E-Waste Challenge, product design, circular economy, and the digital product passport for about 30 minutes, which will be followed by the Q&A session for about 25 minutes. The presentation and the recording at the end of the session will be posted on the webpage of the webinar session on the pages of the Basel Convention website. It is my pleasure now to present the learning path and the courses which are included in the E-Waste Challenge MOOC. And I will share a presentation. The E-Waste Challenge MOOC was developed in partnership by the BRS Secretariat, the IT Raw Materials Academy, a knowledge and innovation community established by the European Union, the University of Leuven in Belgium, the International Telecommunication Union, and the World Resources Forum, a Swiss think tank on sustainable use of world resources with the cooperation of the World Health Organization. The new version of the MOOC is hosted by the Future Learn platform, and is available in English and in Spanish. The participants can obtain 5 certificates from each of the courses. The MOOC includes a learning journey, which includes 5 courses. I will introduce them very briefly. Course 1 on the E-Waste Challenge includes an introduction to e-waste, issues, impacts, and solutions. Course 2 focuses on e-waste and children health, presenting the last knowledge on human exposure to e-waste for dismantling, recycling, and final disposal. Course 3, reducing e-waste by design standards, business and policies, will be partially introduced today because it focuses, as mentioned, on ITU standards and policies for the environmentally sound management of e-waste. Course 4 includes principles for inclusive and sustainable recycling of e-waste, best and worst practices, and material traceability standards in the secondary extraction of metals from e-waste. This course is designed for recyclers in developing and developed countries, and course 5 is the last one and is a new one. It is on e-waste management standardization and conformity assessment. It is directed to recycling facilities wishing to receive an e-waste recycling certification, as well as to auditors and accreditation entities. Here you can find more information on the MOOC and also on the live sessions, which are introducing the main content of each course. And it is my pleasure now to pass the floor to Paolo for his presentation. I hope Paolo can introduce himself just briefly together with the presentation.
Okay. I'm not muted. Yes. Okay. You see my screen is okay?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I am Paolo Gemma. I am working from Huawei in Italy. But I am from some here, ITU member in ITUT Study Group 5, that my presentation today is more focused on what we do in Study Group 5 in ITUT. And in ITUT, I am the chair of the working party, so the group that is dealing with circular economy, energy efficiency, e-waste management, and waste reduction. This is just a very short introduction of myself. Okay, starting with this MOOC, as Francesca said, we are dealing with reducing e-waste by design, the rule of international standard for e-waste management. As is said today is the e-waste day, so have a nice e-waste day that is celebrating to committed to circularity in the waste sector, because it's considered that is the next step for the ICT to reduce the impact. It's very important to think on circularity. And what is good for on all this topic environment, from my personal point of view, is that all small action can have a very big impact in every device is count. So it's not something that is related only to big solution, to big action of a country. So it's very important the single person action. Which is the situation? Here there is, okay, some data from 2024 e-waste monitor. That is a monitor dealing with ITU in collaboration with other organizations. And what we see is that the e-waste grow very rapidly in the last 2 decades. This is terrible from some point of view. And this is linked to the adoption of information and communication technology in any country, in any place, from mobile phone to digital device. The use of ICT product come very familiar. Is anyone have 1, 2, 3, 4 smartphone, some computer, some notebook, some game, maybe, and this create a lot of
excuse me to interrupt, Marco. We cannot see the slides being moved. You probably.
What I need to do?
Paolo, are you changing slides? Because for us, it doesn't.
Ah, okay. So why? Okay, I don't know.
No, we can see.
Now we can see. Yes.
Okay, because in a screen change and the other, it's fantastic. Okay. Okay, now is that okay? Starting with this is the data from the 2022. We have 62 billion of kilo of e-waste generated in 2022. This is around 8 kilo for any person in the world. But what is not nice on this, that, okay, we know the number, but the problem is that only the 22%, so a quarter of this e-waste generated in the world was, we said, document and formally collect and recycle environmentals are managed. So practically, we lost 75% of the waste. But we have no idea how it's managed, where it go, maybe in the landfill, or remain at home of the people, and so on. And this is what we need to increase the percentage of e-waste that was recycled in an environmental sound manner. How can international standard help on this transformation? Okay, international standard is working on writing standard, writing document, looking on some SDGs, and thinking to write standard for city and government on to help them on reduce carbon emission, to give them idea on how to have a sustainable transformation, improve the moving to green energy, in the way to set a target also in the Paris agreements, to respect the Paris Agreement as SDGs. So this is what standard in doing, thinking on the benefit from cities and government. And when we speak a city, we think also rural area and so on. And also, as we are working for ICT, thinking to have technical guidance for ICT sector to implementing green energy solution, to move on less impact technology, provide a measurement tool to evaluate how is the progress on ICT sector from environmental point of view, thinking on low-cost connectivity to rural area, low cost not only from economic point of view, but also from environmental point of view, and try to give a guidance, idea, and tool to arrive at net zero for the ICT sector. What we think, the standard is a backbone of sustainable ICT. So we write standard with a requirement to have a clear guideline on what is a sustainable ICT practice, approach to have a framework for implementing sustainability. It's very important to have a general framework for sustainability to avoid that people move in completely different directions, sometimes in conflict between them. Metering KPI, if I am not able to measure what is the characteristic of my product, I am not able to see if there is a progress. And also I cannot compare solution with another solution. And this is something that is important to write, to establish. And last, the assessment, to have a clear methodology to evaluate the environmental impact of solution, of product, of network, and maybe also which is the benefit to implement solution, ICT solution to other sector. This is what is very important to make. And this is what the standard can do. Looking on all the standard that in ITU we produce on e-waste, okay, this is a very long series. We just classify on topic. We have some framework and a guideline for the e-waste management. And here you see a long list of document. All document produced by ITUT study group 5 is L some number. All of them are free of charge, so anyone can download and read without paying nothing. And I said, we make standard on framework and guideline on the waste management. We wrote solution to reduce the generation of e-waste that is coming from a universal power adapter that was written a lot of years ago, have also specification to have equipment that extend their life, like to have a durability assessment of mobile phone, a circularity scoring, and some strange idea like to think on to provide different business type to provide equipment as service and not as a product. Going on the recycling, some standard on the recycling, on what we are making. I have no idea from where they come. This sound is fantastic. Okay, sorry, I haven't seen that there was a sound before. Okay, there is okay, standard in device sustainability solution, which are, I said, how to involve and engage stakeholder. We see that it's very important to give institution, a university, the idea that on what they introduce in their courses, in their lesson, some study, some information on life cycle management of equipment and e-waste. That is very important to spread information to people. And all the rest also on supply chain and so on. How we supporting the sustainable digital transformation? Why ITU? ITU is a United Nations agency specialized in information communication technology. We have around 140 member states in our membership, and plus than 1,000 members from company, university, research institute, and international organizations. So we are a very, very big group of people that sit together in a table and try to find an agreement on a standard on this topic of the e-waste reduction, stop the production of e-waste, and how to manage e-waste in a reasonable and good manner. Study group 5, that is the group where I am part, we write a standard for sustainable digital transformation. Our name is environment, IMF, climate action, circular economy. All of these topics are linked to environment in any case, because also the pollution from radiation from EMF is part of climate and environmental topic. And this is what we are making in detail on study group 5. Going on the standard that is what I like to present to you is, okay, we think that is the first step is reduce the production of waste. We write this standard in L1000, the last version is 2019, we wrote before, on universal power data and charger solution for mobile terminal and other handheld ICT device. This is the first standard that was produced in the idea of have a unique power data for your smartphone, typically, and give a solution now that is included the interface USB-C, as you see in the figure, and contributed to reduce a lot the generation of e-waste respected to some years ago. As now we are going in a market where the universal power data maybe is not part of the phone, but is a way to reduce the future e-waste. Then now there is, okay, the idea to drive the circular economy using standard. So we need to have a transition to circular economy that is very important to reduce the amount of material resources that we are using in our industry. But we need also to have, as we said before, as I said before, a measurement tool, something to have a KPI to see if a product is okay, is not okay from sustainable point of view. L1023 give a scoring on circularity. Look in different characteristic of a product, like the life, the possibility to reuse, the possibility to repair, to upgrade, and give a score to a single product. So can check if a product is okay from circularity point of view, how much is circular, and how good is the product. This is a good tool to verify a finished product, but also to give a guidance to designer when develop a product, because it's something that they can implement also during the design phase to see how much a product is circular, and can give a very good help to the design of a product. Going on e-waste management, we write L1021 on extended producer responsibility. This is a policy that said that the responsibility of the management of the waste of a product is responsibility of a manufacturer, with different way to be implemented, and which is the first part is the responsibility. The responsibility of APR could be voluntary versus legislation of compulsory, individual versus collective responsibility, voluntary or mandate product take-back system. This is the three general type. In EU is compulsory, sometimes is possible as also individual responsibility or collective producer responsibility. This, what means this is a single company is completely responsible to collect, dispose, etc. the waste, or can use a collective way, like a consortium, for example, to collect all the e-waste and then transport, manage, and recycle. Voluntary or mandated product take-back system, this is something that depends on legislation country by country. Any solution is pro and is country on this. Where is the allocation responsibility? The allocation responsibility can be to the producer, to the retailer, the consumer, and the government. Sure, the government need to make a legislation, the rule in a country. Consumer have a very big responsibility to manage the e-waste that they produce following the rule of the country where they have, and dispose of the waste that they produce in a good way. Retailer, depending. In Europe, also retailer have some responsibility to collect the waste, and producer sure have a responsibility. If established by law, they are finances all of the scheme of the IPR. Then all what is important is establish a very clear rule for the take-back system, that is the collection of the waste, the processing, the management on this, and really the financing, because e-waste is okay, is considered an industry that creates money, but need to start to have some financing, especially from the collection point of view. When you need to realize collection point, you need to finance, give money to create this collection point of e-waste. Another recommendation that we like to start with is to speak is the 1031. That is okay, guideline, a very strange title, because speak about Connect 2030 agenda that was one of the goal of ITU to reduce the e-waste and to have a good collection of e-waste. And this I need to fight with someone. Okay, and this give a composite e-waste approach inventory, give a second step on sustainable waste management system. And the last is on the requirement for implementing in a successful way the e-waste program. So the approach of this recommendation in a three-step approach. And it's very important to clarify well any step what is necessary to do on to have a good e-waste management. And is important to see, okay, sorry, I think I have lost a slide. No. Okay, is okay. Composite e-waste management means that to have a very clear idea what I need to manage, to have a e-waste inventory, need to have a number of how many e-waste I have in the country, and this can be done using different technology, different way. One could be using the Basel Convention tool, other is using the ITU way and other solution to have a good e-waste inventory. And then, okay, develop the sustainable e-waste management system. To support the country, as ITU, we publish some technical report on cases of good implementation of e-waste. This is what is making Costa Rica to move to circular economy. And you see, it's not so simple, but it's a complete map on what is making Costa Rica to move to circular economy. And in the QR code, if when you have the slide, you can find the link to this report to see what is inside, what is making Costa Rica, but could be an idea on how to implement a circular economy in account. Now, as I said before, we need to move to digital product passport. What is a digital product passport? A digital product passport is the idea to link information to the equipment, to the single equipment, in a way that I can find a code, a QR code, IoT devices in the product or similar, a barcode, depending on the solution that will be implemented, to give me some information of what, some information on what is this product, which is the producer, which are its characteristic, and so on. As ITUT study group 5, we look on have a structural collection of product-specific data on linked to this identifier, and we wrote this L1070 that provide an overview of global opportunity and common repository to looking on the sustainability information that is possible to put in a product passport, thinking to move to a circular economy. This is L1070, then we publish 1071, that is after the previous standard, give a structural collection of information item, organized in a way to represent the circularity and environmental sustainability information. Thinking for any of this information that is collected, which standard you need to use, is necessary to use by different stakeholders, by different actors, to put this information in the digital product passport. So it's important to all use the same standard for the same information to avoid to have not consistent information. Which is the benefit of this digital product information system? To have really digital information related to environmental sustainability that are coherent and easy to find. So you can find the characteristic data sheet of a product, you can find the link to the manual, the guide on how to use. And this also to think on give information to people for the maintenance, the repair, the reuse, the recycle, like for end user, okay, where I can find a repair center, what is the maintenance that I can do, I can recycle and send to a very good collection point in which way, and is responsible and verified recycling management. So is all information that needed to be verified before to put in this digital product passport. Who are the user of this? The user of this is the manufacturer, because can give really good information for the product. Buyer of product, because can have really the real data sheet, the characteristic of the product, also information on end of life, the people that use the product, that is the more the customer for us, is very important, the final user of a product that can find information on how to use what they are buying, but also on which is the environmental impact of what they are buying, because you can find the environmental impact, the energy consume, and so on of the product. Then there is all the other actor that is managing the product, like the repair people, the remanufacturing, the recycle. They can have information on how to repair a product, how to recycle, which substances there is inside of the product, and so on. And obviously, okay, national authority and editor to check what is in the market. And this can help the consumer to have a better choice on what we are buying, because we can have useful information on material, the design, the maintenance, the repair instruction, which is the expected life of equipment, which is the energy consumption. We include also specification on programming, firmware, software, where I can find the data for the firmware, that is very important to extend the life of equipment. There is a special attention thinking on recycling, on which are the material inside, where are located physically, especially some critical material, which are the environmental risk if there is some hazardous substance inside. And then for manufacturer, can provide a monitoring facilitating the procurement procedure, think on reverse logistic, because can give information to the user about the reverse logistic, how to enter on the reverse logistic. And this can help on the IPR implementation, because if I have a product that is clear who is the manufacturer, I can contact the manufacturer, asking them, okay, what I need to do with my product when it's not working, when this became waste. This is finished. This is just some publicity on what is the future of this MOOC and other event that is organized by ITU and other organization. Okay, here is the today of this MOOC today, and then next Thursday on next week, but it will be the session in Spanish. Then we have on tomorrow there is a digital product information system for sustainability and circularity. And there is on 17 of October a workshop on e-waste in Latin America, just focus on what is happening in Latin America for the waste management, for the challenge, and which are the future solutions that will be in English and Spanish. And okay. And if you want to join us at Study Group 5, you are welcome in Geneva, possibly by face or remotely from 29 of October and 6 November. And on this I am finished. And please, it's up to you now.
Thank you, Paolo, for this very comprehensive presentation, and especially the new kid on the block, the digital product passport standard, which you have introduced. And now, after your presentation, we open the floor to the questions and answers session. I remind you that to pose questions, the chat is not working, so you have to open your Q&A window and send the question in the Q&A window, or you can raise your hand clicking on the menu React, and then you can raise your hand and ask a question directly. We invite you to take the floor, to take this opportunity to discuss with Paolo, who's a real expert in ICTs, the impacts, and on the standards. When you take the floor, please open your mic, and when you're given the floor, open your mic and remember to close your mic and lower your hand when the question is answered, if you're happy. So I now open the Q&A session. I hope you will take the floor, raise your hand, but perhaps to break the ice, I want to ask Paolo a question on the digital product passport. It is very interesting to see that a product can have a repository of all this information, but what type of infrastructure is necessary to support and contain all this information? And what are the steps that a state can take, a country can take to adopt the DPP? How would the industry provide this information, for example, to a developing country? What are the needs and the steps in your views?
How many days I have to answer? No, it's not simple answer, because, okay, actually as an ITU Study Group 5, we focus on which information is we can put in the digital product passport. There is other standard organization that is writing a standard to create a framework on this. Actually, the more advanced is Europe, because of a law that is required to establish this digital product passport for some type of product. And they are created the framework on this, that means, okay, create a rule on the repository of all information, how it's managed, how you can access, who can access, and very important, the security point of view, to control who is access to this digital product passport, and so on, because also I list a lot of information that is possible to find in the product passport, but what is thinking that not all information are available to anyone. Depending on how, if you are a national authority, if you are a consumer, you maybe see different information with digital product passport. One is in Europe that is working on this, and then there is UNEP that is creating a similar solution, but now I don't remember the name on that. It's not so easy to implement, because mean to have, I can say, a data center in some place that with some storage that contain all of this information, and a way to connect to the to this location. What I mean that in my product I will find, I don't know, a web link, a QR code, a barcode, or scanning with NFC, and I found the information where the link on where I can find the information. This is not simple to implement because connect in a lot of item, like from how many years I need to maintain this information, how to update the information. So it's not so simple discussion, especially from ICT, because if you think a smartphone is easy because you don't change too much, but you think a big infrastructure server, you can have 1,000 of configuration, you can update the server during the life. So, and all the information need to be put in the digital product password. And remember, the digital product password is linked to the single equipment, not to the whole family. It's just a single object that you have in hand. So it's not so simple to manage this, but we will see what is the future on this.
Thank you, Paolo. I would now give the floor to Jnana Prakash Natarajan, who raised the hand. You have to unmute to speak. Please take the floor.
So this is Jnana Prakash from Hello. Sir, are you audible?
Yes, we can hear you.
This is Jnana Prakash from India, Tamil Nadu. I'm doing research in area of management. I have one question. So for a new entrepreneur, what are the focus on this future US management? What are the parts? Mainly, what are the parts you can focus on in the investment management?
If we understood correctly the question, what are the steps on which to focus for
entrepreneurs? Yeah, for entrepreneurship.
For
yeah.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
For e-waste management, or perhaps you would have to repeat the question. What are the steps for entrepreneurs to work on e-waste management?
Yes, especially e-waste.
Yes. So I pass this question to Paolo. And
for an enterprise, is correct, Francesca? Yeah.
Yes.
But this depends a lot on legislation where you are, because if speaking without legislation for a good enterprise, you need to think on the e-waste management or end of life, if you want, of your product. So when you design your product, you need to think on end of life, to design the product in a way that it can be easily to repair, easy to dismantle, give a very good information, which is the substances that are inside. So how much plastic, how much steel, if there is some material that is very interesting to recycle, like gold, lithium, and so on, and where they are located. This is what is the information that you as enterprise need to link to your product that you need to give. Then if in your country or where you sold the equipment, there is some legislation of APR, on extended product responsibility, this depending a lot on the country solution. Because in Europe, you can use some consortium to collect your product at end of life. In other country, you need to implement this by yourself. So it's not so easy to answer. The user consortium facilitate a lot, especially small enterprise, because for a small enterprise it's hard to implement a collection system everywhere. So a consortium can help a little cost, sure, but can help a lot on this. This is the reality. Some company use also a take-back system, in the sense I can give you a new product and you give me the old product. This means that to implement a reverse logistic system to collect all this. Is not easy to give a direct only one answer. There is different option depending on which product you are making first and where you are selling.
Thank you, sir. I'm working. Hello, I'm working together in end of life for computer laptop refurbishment. I'm doing research on that, sir. Give you any suggestion or any idea to without remove the part, without remove the laptop or computer and some parts, and we just find out the find out the problem on this particularly some components. That work I'm doing, sir.
I understood computer and nothing
Yes.
other.
Computer
No,
laptop. I'm doing end of life for computer laptop parts, components like hard disk, battery, some peripheral components, motherboard, CPU. So I'm making some tool for that, sir.
If I may, you will be able to find in the MOOC, but also on the web, a guidance document on collection, on repair, refurbishment, but also on dismantling of different pieces of laptops and computing equipment on the website of the Basel Convention. The Partnership for Action on Computing Equipment developed 7-8 guidance documents on the different phases of the management of waste computing equipment. And you can find a lot of this information in the course 3, which we have promoted today, and also in course 4 of the MOOC. But you can also look for PACE guidance documents, Basel Convention on an engine, on a search engine, and you will come to all these guidance documents with examples of parts and best practices to manage them. I hope this answered your question. If we answered your question and you don't have any other questions,
Prakash.
Okay. So we pass to the second question, which we received in the Q&A. How can I take the courses that were mentioned in the previous presentation? We will share the presentations, but you can find all the courses in this page. I will send the page. You in the Q&A, I hope you can see the answer. It is the page where you can register to each and every course that I had introduced, but you can also register to all the live events. The live events which are already have already taken place. In this page, you can find the recordings. And so I hope
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes, the course by yes, ma'am. The US challenges must be open online courses. Is there any fee for this course or?
No, they are free of charge.
But the US, they one already started this course, right? 29 September 2025, access 5 courses from this page.
Yes, you can access all of them, and they are free of charge from the page I shared in the Q&A.
Yes, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
And
Thank you. Nice.
you're welcome.
Sir.
And the next question is for Paolo. How could is from Inga Guruskien or Guruskien? I hope I pronounced correctly. How could the EPR and digital product passport systems be integrated? Do you see them as connected or separate ones?
No, sure it will be integrated, connected. In the sense of the IPR, one of the scope of IPR is to give to someone the responsibility to manage the waste in some way. That means that in the DP system, I need to find the information on end-of-life management of an item that I have in my hand. So I need to find inside of the collection scheme out where to put at end of life of this equipment. And as I said before, in the DDP, I need to find information on how to recycle. In the same, the recycle company that receive my product, look on the DDP and found all information on what is inside, how to dismount the equipment, where is located particular material, where is other material, to be able to manage in a correct way. And this helps a lot also from extended product responsibility, because it's, as I said before, if you think on reverse logistic implementation, that is one part of the IPR, as a user, I look on the DDP of my phone and I found, this company have a take back system to send back my phone, user phone, I need to call this number or etc. And this is how will be integrated the EPR requirement with the DDP.
I also have something to add that we, in the Basel Secretariat, we are implementing a pilot project in close cooperation with the ITU, with Uruguay, trying to integrate the EPR system, at least for one product for the batteries, for waste lead acid batteries, with the DPP. And so we are trying to test what could be the linkages and infrastructure needs and the basic information on batteries that would be needed in a passport to link it to the responsibility of the importers, who then have to take responsibility for the take back of these batteries, which are very, very hazardous. So this is just a pilot, and we hope to work with the ITU to disseminate the findings and the information that we will try to connect or make available in this pilot. I hope I answered, or we answered together this question. If okay, we then pass to the next question. When talking about the digital product passport, do you have a plan to standardize it, or there have been some standards related to this issue? And what about the EU's DPP?
Okay, there is plan in different standard organizations to standardize the digital product passport. In ITUT, as I showed during my presentation, we voted to standard on the information that is necessary to, that we hope will be considered to put in a digital product passport for ICT equipment from environmental point of view. And there is other work on this in ITU TSG5. We are working with UNEP and Planet. One Planet Network to thank Francesca, because there is too many organizations, sometimes I'm missing them, to work on some solution for the digital product passport. Another work is starting now in Study Group 20 on the system architecture of digital product passport, considering different proposal architecture for building and realize a digital product passport, considering what is making in Europe, what is the UNTP solution made from UNEP. So there is different way. The idea is to have a unique framework for digital product passport that will be used to implement really the digital product passport. Regarding, and this is in IQT is focused on ICT product. If we move to EU, in EU there is a group on from European standardization from Senelec, that is the joint task group JTC 24, that is writing a series of standard, actually is 8 standard on how to implement a digital product passport in general, not only for ICT, but for any type of product. So in Europe, they want to have a digital product passport from a car to a shirt, to a computer, to all, in different steps, obviously. And this is something that is at, I can say, 80% of the construction of these standards, covering a different topic, how to connect, how to, which identifier I need to put in the product, the security. So it's not so simple. It's something that is going. How about implementation? The first product that will be, the need to have a digital product passport in Europe will be battery in 2027. And then after the other product, I think textile, ICT, etc., etc. So the idea of the European Commission is to move step by step. So before they see what is happening with better, and then they can decide for other type of product or what to do.
Thank you very much. And we pass now to the last question. Writing from the English-speaking Caribbean, is there training that speaks to the region, US challenges? I don't know if you have an answer, Paolo, but I have an answer. The Basel Convention has a regional center for training and technology transfer in the Caribbean, based in Trinidad and Tobago. And this center is implementing a very important project, which is called Jeff Island, focusing on solving the US challenge in the Caribbean and also in other islands in the world. And they share periodically the results of their trainings and their projects, and you can always contact them to have more information and to link to the global Green Growth platform, which is disseminating the information and the knowledge from this project. The regional center, the contacts of the regional center, you can find it on the Basel Convention website, looking for partners and regional centers. I hope I answered this question. And our time is actually over. If there are no more questions, I would like to thank all the participants. I would like to thank Paolo for the presentation and the interaction with the participants. I would like to thank Artem, who's helping us for all these sessions. And I would like to highlight that there are lots of initiatives for International US Day. And as Paolo mentioned, there are a series of webinars this week. And our MOOC webinars continue with a Spanish session on Thursday at 3 p.m. Geneva time. And this session is presented by the OMS, the WHO, and it will focus on e-waste and children health. And I want to wish you a wonderful International E-Waste Day and welcome you to the new initiatives that we are doing and to take the MOOC. Thank you, Paolo, and to all of you. And we close the meeting now. Thank you,
Francesca. Thank you for your support, guys. That is on the background, help a lot us.
Super, thank you.
And to all the participants. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you to all the participants.